So doing the things that take care of us will ultimately lead to self-love. So then what is self-love? As I mentioned earlier, yes, it is about looking in the mirror and thinking, I'm pretty okay. But it's also much more than that. Self-love is a place where we can say, I actually like myself. Now, I remember many years ago to say things like that, people used to think it was arrogant or big-headed, but to actually become comfortable who we are, to me, is one of the first steps of self-love. Another thing I'm going to encourage you to do, take out a piece of paper, pause the video after I've explained what it is, by all means pause it, but take out a piece of paper and write all the things you do like about yourself. Is it that you're a good friend? Is it that you're a caring person? Is it that you always seem to be there for people? Is it that you love to surprise people? Is it that you love to send gifts randomly? Whatever it is, there's always something that we can find to like about ourselves. Now, many of us may look physically at ourselves, and that can, up until now, be a more difficult journey. But I guarantee you, there are things to be grateful for with every part of our body. I remember for many, many years, I didn't like my ears. Now what I realize is that I'm so grateful for my ears because they allow me to hear, they allow me to wear my sunglasses, which, trust me, living here in the desert, it literally is a daily event where I choose to put the sunglasses on. So now I love my ears, okay? So if there's a physical part of your body, I'm going to encourage you, think about, what does that part of the body love to do? I'll give you another real example. My tummy, I used to be a dancer, I was a gymnast, and my tummy was always toned. And as I've got a little bit older, perhaps my tummy isn't as toned as I would love. Now, that said, what I recognize is that my tummy holds everything in place. My tummy is protecting all my organs, and I love my tummy for what it's doing right now. So I'm going to ask you to take off your judgment hat and just look at you for who you are, your characteristics, loyalties to people, your commitment to things. And then for those of us who choose to, perhaps start to think about the physical parts. So self-love is an inner feeling. Self-care are all the things that we can do around us to bring us that beautiful, elevated piece of self-love. The reason I wanted to actually share this with you today is that so many people use those words interchangeably. Self-care, self-love, self-care, self-love, almost as though they mean the same thing. So if we're doing self-care and it's not impacting our self-love, how we feel about ourselves, people often will give up on the self-care piece. So it really is critical, in my opinion, that we need to separate out the two. One is what we do, the other part is what we receive, those feelings, those emotions. Let's make sure we treat them for the phrases that they are. Self-care is what we do, self-love is what we get from it. One of the other things that people often say to me, how often should I do self-care? My answer to that is as often as you feel that you'd love to. You see, if we're doing self-care because it feels like it's something that we should do, we're actually not stepping into it in the right mindset with the right energy. We're stepping into it from a point of view of, oh, I've got to do my self-care, almost as though it's become a routine. It's become a commitment that hasn't got a beautiful level of commitment, which is like, I'm choosing to do self-care today.